The Cowboys lost again.
Oh, yeah.
Falcons 27-21 in a game where Kirk Cousins wildly efficient. 19-24, 222 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He's got 7 touchdown passes and no picks in his last 2 games. The bottom line is right now, Jay, this Cowboys defense they don't have an answer.
They're terrible. They might have the worst defense in the NFL when Micah Parsons isn't out there. Now, Parsons will come back. I think they'll get a little bit more respectable, but they just have no prayer whatsoever at the moment. And now they get the Eagles, who are finally seeming, at least on offense, starting to click into gear. Saquon Barkley going up against Dallas, with Saquon's looking like, along with Derrick Henry, the best offensive player in football. Justin Jefferson as well in that conversation, but the skill position players. But I think with the Cowboys defense, like, you're just starting everyone with a pulse against them until further notice.
Right, and that includes your Philadelphia Eagles. That's who they. I mean, like, I would love to. We can't because we're a fantasy show. But I would love to just have an NFL discussion about the Cowboys for the next 20 minutes because it's sorry, but I'm hail Commanders, hail victory. Like my 2 favorite teams are the Commanders and whoever's playing the Cowboys. Right? I'm not a Cowboys fan, despite the fact that my good friend Ates, CeeDee Lamb, plays for them. Obviously, I love Ates, but I don't know if you're Jerry Jones, what do you do? Because by the way, they were. All jokes aside, they were right to commit to Dak Prescott. They were right to pay.
It was the only thing they could do.
It was right, given where the situation, given the state of the quarterback, and they were right to pay Dak. They were right to pay CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be right to pay Micah Parsons. But like they're now pot committed to these 3 guys, and the rest of it's a disaster. Look at their upcoming schedule. They're 3-5 on the season, guys. And here's their upcoming schedule: Eagles, Texans, Commanders on the road. And then they're home to the Giants. By the way, they beat the Giants by 5 points a few weeks ago. Like, I don't think that's not a gimme.
That is not a gimme.
That is not a gimme. You look at their upcoming schedule. Like, I don't see how this team makes the playoffs. I don't think.
No, the playoffs are gone.
Jay, is there a chance that Week 15 is the first game they're favored when they play at the Panthers?
They'll be favored against the Giants. They'll be favored against the Giants. But outside of that, and I mean, if the Bucs have everyone back by Week 16, there's a chance even at home they may not be favored in that game. They probably will be. But I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, this team was a 7-point favorite in a playoff game last year. That didn't work out so well for them against the Packers. But I just think that they're so top-heavy, and the roster is so top-heavy that when you start losing anyone, like, I think Micah Parsons just covered up for a lot of sins on this defense. And it kind of, the only guy who's on the Cowboys whose kind of rating has gone up in the past month is Micah Parsons, because they're just a complete mess when they can't get pressure.
He should be in the MVP conversation because of how bad the Cowboys defense looks without them. They keep giving up tons and tons of points. It's unbelievable. Go ahead.
The problem is that Parsons played against the Saints when they gave up 44 points in week 2. Like, they're just, even with him out there, it's just all over the place.
Things are grim for the Cowboys right now, and we got to hear from Dak just on the overall mood of the locker room after the game.
Obviously frustrated. Obviously, I feel like I said that last week, disappointed. Felt like we could get this one. Felt like this was a great one set up for us. And didn't get it done. For me to experience this, have this, add to the injury, CD getting banged up a little bit during the game, tough.
And to make matters worse, the Falcons tweeted, "Tough week to be a Yankees fan."
Yeah.
With the Cowboys score.
I mean,
That's good.
When the team that lost being up 28-3 in a Super Bowl can troll you on social media,
you're down horrendous.
You're down bad. You are down pretty bad as well. Just to clean up this game now from a fantasy football perspective, to add insult to injury, as bad as it's been for the Cowboys, they're 3-5 and they go into a brutal stretch of their schedule. Dak Prescott left this game at the end of the third quarter with a hamstring injury. He's getting an MRI today. We'll find out the results of that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We don't have any news as of right now. And CeeDee Lamb left with that shoulder injury, but returned, but it sounds like it's an AC joint. I don't know. Sometimes players get hurt. They come back in because they're filled with adrenaline, and then, they get under the scope, and they're it lingers. So, you feel nervous about these guys. What do you make of Rico Dowdle? So here's the positives of Rico Dowdle, right? I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, due to a disciplinary reason, was not active for this game. I sort of hope that, I don't want to say hope, but if you knew Dowdle was going to get this kind of work, like reasonably productive, right? Plays 72% of the snaps, handles all but 3 of the running back touches in this game, catches a touchdown pass in this one. Still hasn't run for a touchdown this year, but weirdly does have, I believe, 3 receiving touchdowns on the year. He's now had at least 5 targets in 4 of the last 6. He's had at least 19 fantasy points in the 2 games where he gets 15 touches. When he gets touches, he's productive. And on a team that's flailing around, maybe, especially by the way, if Dak Prescott misses time, maybe they go more run heavy with Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, I mean, his path to value is that he's on a bad team at the moment, and if they're trailing, then he can produce value through PPR scammery. And that seems very viable at the moment, particularly if Zeke isn't going to be part of the picture. So Dowdle, again, like, you can't be super excited about picking up Rico Dowdle, but at the same time, like, he could be a low-end RB2 if he's going to be the lone guy in Dallas.
Just to put a wrap on this game, Drake London, Detective Drake London, friend of the podcast, left the game with a hip injury as well after his touchdown catch. No word if he did, in fact, mutter bird up when he did that, but hopefully Drake will be okay. He posted something on social media that seemed to indicate that he will be, but again, players say they'll be all right, and then you find out, actually, you're going to be out for a month. So who knows with Drake London. Hopefully he can come back. They're at the Saints next week, so they don't have a bye for 2 more weeks, right? They're at New Orleans, at Denver, and then they've got a bye, the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. Like, it doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing. He's Kirk Cousins, top 12 quarterback. As we entered on Monday Night Football, Kirk Cousins, who played very well, is QB 13 in fantasy football. I mean, like, it just like that. He doesn't run, but he's throwing very efficiently, plays well, and it's
I think he's maybe the quarterback most in the entire NFL who is dependent on the level of defense that he plays. Like, you think, like, week 1, he's just completely not viable against the Steelers, where they have a pass rush, they have an elite defense. He's just a sitting duck for TJ Watt. But if he has time in the pocket, he's gonna dice you up. He's still a very good quarterback on that front. It's just when teams and pass rushes make him move, then it all falls apart. But like, he doesn't have that many scary defenses left on the schedule anyway.
Darnell Mooney benefits from that.
I was just going to say, and part of it is like, it's not only the defense he's facing, but it's all give him some weapons, right? Because we know Drake London is elite, and Kyle Pitts is starting to finally make good on all that promise that we saw coming out of college. But how about Darnell Mooney, who earned 9 targets in this game, 5 for 88 and a touchdown. He's now had back-to-back games with at least 18 fantasy points. He's got 5 receiving touchdowns so far on the year. That is a career high, and it's his 3rd straight game with at least a 20% target share. He is earning targets. Targets are earned, and he's finding himself open, and Kirk Cousins is looking for him, Connor.
He really is. I mean, especially when London leaves that game in the first half, it just becomes the Darnell Mooney show. But even when London's been on the field, he's been wildly consistent for this Falcons passing offense.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.